carrying right along with this here electrolysis-rust-removal. As you can see, that needle has settled in on about 5 amps. That's what we're dealing with. 5, yeah, it's 5. Now let's look at the tank. Over here in the corner next to the porch post in the shade, it's about noon, about 12 o'clock straight up. And I set this tank going at somewhere around 5 o'clock day before yesterday. I hear that train over there sitting on the side and idling. A couple of toots of horn means that train's getting ready to leave town. The tank was set up somewhere around 5 p.m. and I was planning on taking these parts out somewhere around 5 p.m. yesterday, which would have been 24 hours. And I got to doing something else, and now it is here 12 o'clock today. So, you know, they've been in here basically a day and a half. And it's it's okay, because it'll be happening to you. Everything is not on schedule. But you can see after a day and a half how much discoloration, scum, let's call it, on that tank right there. And it's just a small amount of foaming right there, just, you know, a 1/16 of an inch thick. It's not no big deal. And and you can see our cross piece there, that's still good and clean. We do have a little bit of accumulation on those wires. Both the anodes was actually the centerpiece becomes the cathode, and the positive plates over here becomes the anodes in this kind of setup. But let's take us off a couple of parts, slip them off the end, and we'll go in there and water brush them. We ain't gonna wash these. I don't use wash water. So I'll show you something right over yonder. I actually hung a piece of copper. This is solid copper wire, and I actually hung it in that solution over there, and you can see it turned it a silver color. But there's not much accumulation on it. It did clean it up right there. I don't know if it'd be any benefit because there ain't no rust on it. So let's get us a couple parts off of there, go in there and wire brush them. We'll let that train leave town. And we operating over here in a shadow, but I'm going to disconnect that one right there. Let's get these up out of there and show you what we got. You all see that? Is that in the light enough? Maybe right there. I'm not sure if we got a visual on that right there enough. But we'll get in there on that workbench. I think we're going to have success with just about everything on there. So let's just, let's get this one right here, whatever that is, and this one right here. And that's enough because we're going to be talking. And we'll put that right back in there, you know, hook that back up. And we'll go on in yonder to the wire wheel and see what these looks like. Okay, we're here to the grinding, to the drill press, and we'll get these parts off of right here. And if you want to, just kind of I don't. But if you have a desire to, you actually can use a cloth to wick away a little water. But I'll show you something on the get-go right here first. This is a real long taper punch right in here. And what I use that for is put that washer right on there. Just slide it right down on there like that. Put that on there, hold that over to the side, and work it around like that, and it brush that washer right there. Just like that right there, if y'all can see that. Do it on the edge. And when you look at that right there, that's a perfectly clean, that's as clean as you're going to get that piece of metal right there. Let's just go ahead and knock that other one out while we're in here. Now you notice that we didn't wash these parts in no water yet. If you do, they'll probably rust. There's that little thing right there, and I can tell you immediately that this did not clean. So we'll put that back in there. Let's see about this part right here. That's that governor, short governor arm right there. And just work her right around in there like that right there. Now we're not going to oil these parts either. If you wash them in water, you'll have to oil them up. Or if you have a damp shop. Sometimes there's things that happen that you do not blame on the process, and that freed that nut up right there. And as you can see, I got discoloration right there. And when I run it on that wire brush right there, it's perfectly good and clean. So I will put this in some lacquer thinner to get that oil off of there. And as you're cleaning the parts, everything needs to be wire brush, even the inside of the hole. So you run a wire brush in there from both sides, and there is a reason to do that. Okay, now we've got that part clean right there. That part right there that'll lay on the workbench right there for, well, in my shop it just don't rust, whatever the time is. And this nut right here, I'll put that on that. I'll put that nut. I'll put on that punch right there. Okay, and then I run it right around like that right there. Turn it around like that, and run it around like that right there. Now I got a very clean nut right there, except the threads in yonder. And these are clean enough to paint if you have not been using the wire brush to clean some oily parts, and you have oil on your wire brush, then you'll have problems with the painted parts. In the spring, okay, see that spring did not clean either. And this is a good example for show and tell, because not all parts, when you don't do no pre-cleaning, as I didn't, it's just enough rust on there to where that does not make an electrical contact. So now what I'll do is on this particular one right here, I'll actually I got a belt there on the belt sander that's worn out. It's really not very good. So what I'll do is just run that right around that belt sander there, even to the point where you just take that file and, okay, now that'll make electrical contact right there. Also up here on this part right here. See, when you get down to bare metal and put your wire back there, then this will clean up. It's that worked out really good. This part here, let's see what we got. Now the part is very clean. If we can see that, that is very clean. But we've got that hole down in yonder to deal with. So just get you something right there and run a cloth all the way through yonder. Run that through there, run that through there, clean it out, and then use the appropriate size wire brush to wire brush the inside of that from both sides. And also, not one little nook or cranny is overlooked when you're cleaning the parts up. So you run a wire brush in everything. And the little bitty hole right there, I will take that out there. I'll shoot a little air pressure in there and blow that out right there. There's a little place right there I'll miss. And when you're cleaning parts, the different angles, if you clean that part like that right there, it'll miss right in there. So you have to clean, you have to wire brush, the wire brush going that way, and then you turn this around and the wire brush going this way and that way and that way. But that has ended up being a very clean part for just such a little bit of time. And you know, there was no pre-cleaning. That's pretty much the way I got that I just put it in yonder. You remember it. And it's good to go. And like I say, if you don't have any moisture, this won't rust. And there is absolutely none. There is no, if you micrometered that, there would be no metal missing, no metal erosion. Had I put this over as the positive anode, this would be eaten away, and it would be a big old glob of rust right there. And then when you put it back over as the cathode and reverse the process, and it eats that away, then it shows you the erosion on the metal. Just some more parts at random. This was the two next parts on the end. Just from the tank, come in here, unwire it. We're not dealing with any acids, anything like that in this process. And you can see that the paint is loose from it. So and I will say, this was a very bad paint job on this right here. It appeared that someone just took a spray can and painted over, and I am going to take the cloth, little water in them nooks and crannies, so I'm going to take a cloth, small rag right there, and kind of clean some of that moisture away from that right there. And let's carry right along. Now in my world, this is about as clean as I can do this. You know, if I use some of this newfangled rust removers, you have something to dispose of, and all I'm doing is running this cloth anywhere that I can get it between anything, so that I mean, this part here is clean. And like I say, I will take this to the air hose out there, high pressure air hose, and blow in these I didn't disassemble this. This is still all together. So I'll take an air hose and blow in these nooks and crannies and blow everything out. And I see a little misplaced up there. Let's get this. Oh yeah, that's much better. And just so happened this piece right here was, the way it was wired up right there, it did make metal contact through everything. And all holes, any hole that's on this thing right here will have the appropriate size wire brush run through it. And the threaded holes will and this is ready to paint. If you actually, after it's blown off, it'd be ready to paint. And if you would like, you can have a vat of lacquer thinner and just run this down in there, swoosh it around a little bit, bring it back out, blow it with our hose, and then it is perfectly clean if you had oil or something on your wire brush. But you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that you do this at all. I'm just showing you how I do it, and if you undertake it on your own, your results may vary. But you know, I don't with this process right here, I don't have any chemicals to dispose of, and like I say, that tank out there that's been going about a year, and from yesterday when I filled that tank up with water up to about a ½ inch to the top of that rim, and when I looked at it just now out there, I'm going to say it's down, let's say 1 inch. So it evaporated about 1 inch of water away in a day and a half. And you're only evaporating the water away. You're not evaporating the washing soda. The white build up on it there, chalky looking stuff. It's kind of, I think it's kind of calcium. You can look it up and read about it, but I think what it is the ions in the water reacts with the washing soda, sodium carbonate. And I know there's going to be one of the first or second comments left that says, oh, you can put some baking soda in the oven and bake it and you'll end up with sodium carbonate. And I question, you know, why would you add the extra expense of doing that? You know, you buy the box of washing soda for about $4.50 and you use a handful of it in this tank, and then you use the rest of it to laundry your clothes. Okay, and so a handful out of the $4.50 box is only pennies. Where if you buy the box of soda for 49 cents and you put it in the oven and bake it for a couple hours at whatever degrees it is, I've done it. I know about it, and it's counterproductive. The electricity would cost more than this handful of washing soda. And washing soda is a common, it's not a hard to find chemical. It's on most store shelves. And the second comment most of the time that's left on these is, oh, go over yonder to the swimming pool place and buy you some of that. Well, you know, most of the time that swimming pool place wants to sell you a 55-gallon drum of this stuff or a 20-pound box. It's just, and had I cleaned this part right here with vinegar, okay, and it's clean and everything, then I've got to get rid of the vinegar residue. And actually, I'm not sure the difference in how bad one product is to the other ones. The calcium carbonate compared to vinegar as to disposing of them. But no need to ramble on. Let's put an end to this electrolysis by showing you that. And now, again, is just bring a few parts into water brush out of the tank. And just the length of time that we have been talking, and this part here started to dry, so it may be rusted. No, this is the weight. Usually these weights, I'm going to say it's probably a 4 grade of, oh, that's good there, that's great. Okay, really quick, not to draw this out too long. These weights usually, sometimes they will rust back, and you have to put them in there. And I think it's the composition of the metal. In this particular batch, well, I'll show you something. Now, right here, most of these parts are cast iron, just the way it worked out. But now right here's one that's not cast. Let's see what it looks like. And you see how bad it looks when I took it out of the tank. And when you're water brushing these parts, water brush them and then look at them, and if something ain't right, do it again. This is a governor. This is that governor arm right there, but I think these are 1018 steel. It's just some regular old steel. And then this part up here is they press them out. I don't think them's cast. And then they put it on there, and then they brad it up right there. So it is dissimilar metals, and that has absolutely no erosion of the metal, absolutely none. Little bitty writing, and it does not improve the part. It just removes the metal. Pardon. You can quote me on this. It does not improve the part. It removes rust. And then it's your responsibility thereafter to clean it up. And like I say, that's perfectly dry with just the amount of with just the amount of well, you seen what we did, and that's ready to paint. And I actually can leave this in my workshop. I mean, I've got parts in here that I done, you know, 10 years ago. That's not rusted. That's all I'm going to say about electrolysis.